All right, we are back. So, seventh video. Let's see where we're at. Just as a recap, we have our landing page, our rules. We can press R, P, or S, and it will take us to the game board. Press Q, it goes back. Press R again. We can reset this. And we are capturing computer choices at the moment. So, I think what we really should be doing is we've been logging everything in the console. So I think a good next step actually is to probably clear out these console logs and start updating our actual choices with pictures. So if you remember on our very first video, we showed this assets folder with some images. So we actually have images that we can use and we can have them update as we make choices. So I think that'll be a good thing to focus on for mainly for this video. So what we want to do first is if we're going to update those images, we need to get a reference to those images. So that'll be one of our next variables that we'll use. So we have two images, this one here and this one here. So basically the same. One is a user image, the other is a computer image. So let's just put a ID on both of these, and we'll call this one user image. And we'll call this one ID equals computer image. And now we can actually target those HTML elements in our JavaScript. And just like we've been updating the text content, now we can update the image content. So we'll say var user image equals document.getElementById. And I already forgot what the variable is. And we'll say var computer image equals document.getElementById. And again, I already forget what it's called. So let's go back. So we have user image, computer image. Okay. So we'll just get the computer ones, less the type. And we'll put that here. Oops. We'll put that right here. And we'll also get the user. And these should both be in quotes. So now I have a reference in my JavaScript file to both of these HTML elements, the user image and the computer image. So we have a reference to them, which is perfect. Now what I need to do is I need to think about how I want to update these. So basically when I press the key, that's really when they should update, right? Because I make my choice when I press R, P, or S, and the computer makes its choice also after that happens to this computer picker function. So we can update the kind of the logic here. So we'll say, and you know what, at this point, I wonder if we need to kind of like clean up this code or clean up these comments a little bit because we have a lot of stuff going on here. So this one's going to check, let's actually just copy all this. I'm going to copy this, just cut it. Let's put it right here. So what this is actually doing is it's checking if the user presses the R, P, or S key, which is true. If they do, it's going to log the key and hide the Jumbotron and show the game board. Then it's going to call the computer picker function and store the value it returns in the computer guess variable and log it to the console. So that's really all this one is doing. And then what we're going to add to it next is call the update picture function. And yeah, actually it's going to call the update and we'll put the logic for what that's going to do in the other function when we describe that one. So let's take all of this. We actually don't need either of these lines because that's only going to be for the first if. So what we'll do is we'll put another doc block here just to get this a little bit more clean, just because we have a lot of stuff going on now. So if they press the Q key, show the Jumbotron again, and log the key in a warning, and then also hide the game board, And that's all that really happens there. It's also going to also reset the scoreboard. And then this guy right here, cut him out. Actually, I don't know if we care anymore about this. Like, do we really need to log any other key? So why don't we just delete this? Like, that's not actually doing anything for us. So we're just not even going to have that code anymore. So we updated our comments. And again, this is, all important stuff, just documenting this code as we go. The thing we want to do now is we want to think in here. What we want to do is in this function here, we want to call this update. Let's say var computer picture, we're going to make a new variable, is going to be equal to the response of a new function called update picture, which is going to take an argument, which is going to be the computer's guess. So we'll explain this as we go. But basically what we're doing is, again, we're going to make a new variable that we're going to store the value, store what the picture is that we want to store, display to the user for the computer's pick. We're going to get that by this new function that isn't written yet called update picture. And we're going to pass it the computer's guess. So when we look at that, let's just make a new function down here. So this new function is going to receive a character, a character from either the user or the computer. It is going to check if the character is either an R, an P, or an S, and return the appropriate image source, which will kind of expand out. So we're going to make this function, it's going to get a character. So either the only thing that's really ever going to be passed to it is RP or S. If it's R, we're going to return to it the source for the rock image. If it's P, we're going to send the paper image. And if it's S, we're going to send the the scissors image. And those images I'm talking about, again, are right here: paper, rock, and scissors. So that's what that's going to look like. Let's close this. And let's go back. Where are we at here? Where is our function we were just writing? Oh, we just wrote the doc block. I was losing my mind for a minute. So in here, we're going to call this update picture. And again, this thing is going to get a character. You can call this argument whatever you want. However, we're going to call it character. I'm going to pause this real quick because I'm realizing I have some sort of typo, unless I can find it in 2 seconds, but I don't want to have this going on forever. I have a feeling it's in this if block. Yeah, let me pause this real quick just so we don't kill some time. Okay, that didn't take that long at all. So this function here never actually got closed when we were cleaning up that else statement. It looks like I accidentally deleted one too many semicolons. Maybe some of you caught that. So we'll save that. I was kind of looking down here like this had a red line, and I was hoping it would fix itself, but I caught it pretty quick. So if you caught it at home, good for you. So either way, we have this new function called update picture, and it takes in as an argument a character. And that character is either going to be, hopefully, either a rock, paper, or scissors. We're going to check to see what it is, just for some good error checking behavior. But let's start writing this function. So let's test it first to just console out like what it gets. So I'm just going to write in update picture function, and then we're just going to put in here plus char. And what's going to happen is we're going to call that update picture function right here. So we're going to return chart. Great. And we're going to call it, actually, it doesn't matter if we return it just yet. So we're going to call update picture. And let's actually just get rid of this for right now. So we're going to call update picture, passing it the computer guess. When it calls it, it should get that value down here as a new variable called char that's just in this function, and it should log it out. So let's take a look at what that does. And that should fire every time I press the R, P, or S key. So we're going to refresh this. I think I'm on the right one. Go to R, open up my terminal. So you can see in the update picture function, R, P, S, and that's the pick that the computer made. So we know that that function is working. So I'm having some success there. Just to get rid of some stuff. I'm going to delete this console log. We don't actually care about this stuff anymore. So there's no point in cluttering up our console. So now we know we're getting a letter in here as char. And we'll leave this for now. So what we want to check is if that character is equal to R, we're going to want to do something. Else if that character is equal to P, we're going to want to do something. And finally, else if that character is equal to S, we're going to want to do something. And we're going to return back, this function is going to return back here to this update picture a reference to where that image is located. So again, I'm going to change this back again. And we're just going to call this, I think we called it var computer picture is going to be equal to that. So what we're going to return is pretty simple. Each time we're going to return back just the location of where that picture is located. So again, in our folder structure, we have assets, and then in there we have images, and then in there we have 3 files. If it's R, we want to send back rock.png. If I could type. If it's P, we want to send the same thing back, except we want to send paper.png. And then lastly, if it's S, we want to send back scissors. Scissors. Yeah, that's right. Scissors.png. So we'll save that. That looks good. So we're going to return that. And then let's just console log this computer picture and make sure it works. Let's just look to get some more success. We're going to delete that other console log because that doesn't matter anymore. So what's going to happen here is if I press the R, P, or S key, the computer is going to make its guess by calling computer picker. Once I get its guess back, I'm going to pass its guess to this new function. It's called update picture, which is going to check if it's an R, it's going to give me a rock picture, a P, a paper picture, S, a scissors picture, and then I'm just going to log that string to the console. So let's see if that works. And you can see every time I'm getting whatever it picks, I'm getting the location to where those pictures are located, which is awesome. So now what we can do is we know where that computer picture is on the HTML page. So we can actually go here, and instead of logging it, because that's not fun, we've done a million console logs. What if we said the computer image, we actually have access to its source property, and we can set that equal to the computer picture. And as simple as that, if I hit save, as soon as I do this, it will update the value dynamically every single time. So let's take a look at what that looks like. I'm going to press R. So you're seeing now every time I press R, P, or S, the computer is making a choice and it is updating its picture accordingly. So I'm only pressing R on my keyboard, but the computer is picking a different option almost all the time. Sometimes it's a couple of the same ones in a row, but every single time the picture is updating every time I make a choice, which is super cool. The second part of that is we can update our choice too, which is actually a hell of a lot easier. And the benefit of making this a function that we can reuse is if we want to update the picture, all we have to do to update our own picture is we don't have to do a lot of logic. All we have to do is say our picture, which is user image. We can just say user image dot source is equal to update picture, and then just pass it the key that we typed in. So I'm going to update my picture, the user picture. I'm going to call that update picture method, but I don't need to do any guessing, right? Because I already know what key I pressed because we're checking it in game start. And if it's an R, a P, or an S, it'll happen in here. So I'm not going to get any bad characters in here. I'm only going to get R, P, or S. So it will pass that value, R, P, or S, down to update picture. If it's an R, it'll give me a rock. If it's a P, it'll give me a paper. And if it's an S, it'll give me scissors. We go back to our page once more and refresh it. Now you're seeing I'm hitting R every time. I'm hitting P every time. I'm hitting S every time. And now we're actually getting visual representation of these guesses on the screen as soon as I pick them. No delay, no lag, and it's updating all the time. So really, really, really cool stuff. And hopefully at this point, our game is really starting to come together and is really updating dynamically. Really, the last thing we kind of need to do is figure out this score thing. So pretty cool stuff. I think, like I mentioned, the last thing that we really want to focus on is getting the score correct, updating the logic around that, and probably just a couple miscellaneous things for cleaning up. So I will see you in the next video, and we will work on those things.